So for the last service of this month, we have another word from the Psalms, and our divine service is entitled Angels Serve Us, and our Bible word is Psalm 91 verses 11. For he shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. So a few services ago, we looked at Psalm 27. That's where the worshipper, most probably the king, declared the statement of confidence in God. God is my light, my salvation, my strength, etc. He will protect me against my enemies. And if I go out to war, I will defeat them. So that was a statement of absolute confidence. God will be my protection. And for this Sunday service, it's also about trusting in God's protection. But here, the person addressed in this psalm is encouraged. Trust God. So it's a bit different from Psalm 27. Yeah, the person is encouraged. Trust in God. And the psalm is, most of it consists of a sermon, if you can call it like that, an encouragement or an exhortation, telling the person, do this, because God will help you and God will protect you in this and that way, etc. There are two main parts of the psalm. And in verses 1 to 13, that's mainly the person himself who speaks, who gives his own statement of confidence and then gives a sermon or exhortation to the one who is spoken to, saying, trust God for this or that reason. And then the last verses 14 to 16, there's an oracle of assurance. Remember the Psalm 27, it also ended by an oracle where God addresses the king. Yeah, in a similar fashion, it's God speaks to the same person being addressed in terms of, if you put my trust in me, this is what I will do, etc. So, two main parts. So this is also very similar to wisdom poetry, where this exhortation or instruction is given to the faithful in terms of how they must live and behave. Yeah, specifically, trust God, let your trust in God grow, etc. And also once again, like Psalm 27, yeah, Psalm 91, we also know these words because our choir also sings this. If we go read verses 1, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. In the psalm, God, as we saw here in verse 1, is also referred to with two other names, and as the Almighty or as the Most High. And these were other names that were also called, or God were known by. Most High from the Hebrew Elyon, or Mighty, Almighty from the Hebrew word Shaddai. So these were names also in addition to, if we read verses 2, I will say of the Lord. If you look at that word Lord, it's written with capital letters. And if you see that, remember, that is being translated from the Hebrew Yahweh. Yahweh was another name for God in the Old Testament. Of course, from Yahweh we derive our English Jehovah. So yeah, God is referred to as Yahweh, and there in English, Lord, but also as Shaddai, Almighty, and as Elyon, Most High. And it speaks here also in verses 1 of, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. In other words, God gives shade. And in the ancient world, the king giving shade to his people. They can live in his shadow. It was a form of protection. It was a common metaphor for the king. So here God, Yahweh, he's addressed, he's the king. He's the king of his people. And so they also live under his shade, or they can live in his shade. They live under his protection. And it's quite interesting to note that Psalms 90 to 100, they all address God as king. He's the king of his people. So here Psalm 91, it builds or forms part of this language where the God of Israel is addressed as king. So the people will live in the shade of the king. In other words, God. Then it goes on. Yeah, the speaker who addresses the person, he says, I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him I will trust. So here the speaker, he speaks of his own feelings, or his own trust in God. And now, from verse 3, he now addresses the other person. Now the sermon begins. He's exhorting the person. He says, surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler, and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with his feathers. Again, this image of the king protecting his people. Under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler, etc. So now this person is addressing this other person. He wants to encourage this other person. Trust in God. And now verses 9, the speaker, he comes again and he says, because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge. Right? So now the speaker's there again. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you. So in other words, God will protect you from physical harm, from spiritual harm, dangerous forces, elements, evil, whatever it may be. Yeah, this person is told God will protect you. And then we come to our text word also, where it speaks of angels. Part of this protection is angels that will come to you. Specifically, if you look at verses 9, or the second half of verse 9 to verses 13. If you go read there, even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. In other words, wherever you find yourself, God will protect you. Why? For he shall give his angels charge over you. That's our text word for this Sunday. To keep you in all your ways. In other words, wherever you may find yourselves, angels will be there to protect you. And the angels here are depicted, they're like parents. They will lift you up by your arms. So you will not stumble and fall or hurt yourself. They are there. It's like parents holding the arms of their children, that as they learn to walk, etc., that they may walk safely. Let's read what it says. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. So these angels will be like protective parents who will look after you. Then of course it also comes to the conviction and strength of the person himself. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, etc. God will give you victory over these spiritual forces or dangerous forces that come your way. And now from verse 14, we find the oracle. This is God speaking, again through the priest, whoever it might be, addressing the same person that the person in verses 2 and 9 addressed. So now God is speaking to the same person. From verse 14, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. So look at all these benefits that God has promised here to this person who will put his trust in him. Honor, a long life, salvation. He will put him on high, etc. I will deliver him. I will answer him. So the psalm, it encourages this person being addressed. Put your trust in God. Increase your trust in God. He will protect you. Then God, in the psalm, also affirms this by those verses 14 to 16. And he says, if you do this, this will be all the privileges that you will enjoy. I will honor you. I will protect you. I will put you on a high place. You will see my salvation, etc. So, the Psalm 91, most of it is a sermon or encouragement to a person. Increase your trust in God. He will be there to help you. At the end, God also speaks to this person. It gives him assurance. If you put your trust in my name, I will give you this help and protection. So, thank you for joining me. Blessed preparation for the Sunday's word. Until we see each other again.